Last night, a gunman opened fire in a crowded movie theater in a Denver suburb, killing at least 12 people, wounding 50 others. The shooting erupted during the midnight showings of The Dark Knight Rises at a multiplex in Aurora, Colorado, where throngs had gathered, some dressed as characters from the highly anticipated Batman sequel. Many people in the movie theater thought this was just part of the movie. A federal law enforcement official said that the suspect of the shootings, a man born in 1987, was in custody. The police, federal agents, are searching an apartment in the town. After the man said he had explosives there, they went through the window. Looks like his apartment may have been booby-trapped. Other residents in the building were evacuated as a precaution. We're treating this as an active shooter investigation, working with Aurora police. No indications at this early point of the investigation of any nexus to terrorism. Chaos quickly spread through the multiple packed theaters as the gunman, wearing a gas mask, stood in front of one theater around 12:30 a.m. and began firing at the crowd. Witness described smelling pepper spray or tear gas in the movie theater as the gunfire rang out. President Obama released a statement, said he was shocked and saddened by the horrific and tragic shooting in Colorado. As we do when we're confronted by moments of darkness and challenge, we now must come together as one American family. All of us must have the people of Aurora in our thoughts and prayers as they confront the loss of family, friends, and neighbors. We must stand together with them in the challenging hours and the days to come. Mitt Romney issued a similar statement, said he and his family were praying for the families in Aurora. Colorado television showed several ambulances moving dozens of people. Officers gathered around Century 16 movie complex in the early morning darkness. Keyword, darkness. A San Diego woman identified as James Holmes' mother told ABC News today she had awoken unaware of the shooting, had not yet been contacted by authorities. She immediately expressed concern that her son may be involved. What parent have you ever heard say this? Quote, they have the right person. I need to call the police. I need to call and fly out to Colorado. Obviously, the shooter was deeply disturbed. There are many reports now on who this shooter was, because there seems to be quite a few James Holmes in the Aurora area. In fact, I believe there are 30 of them, but that hasn't stopped the media from saying, oh, it's this one, it's this one, it's this one. Look at this website. Some media outlets are just posting Facebook pages, and they don't even know if they have the right guy. One guy whose name is Holmes, James Holmes, has been contacted by the reporters. This just happened last night. Listen to this.
He writes, dearest random Facebook people who keep confusing me for a mass murderer and yet still send me Facebook requests. I appreciate the fact that you're trying to become better informed about the occurrences last night in Aurora, but you have been somewhat misled in that I am not the man who did it. I am not 24-year-old gunslinging killer from Aurora. I am a 22-year-old book-slinging mass eater from Littleton. Somewhat distinct, I would assume. But I would appreciate it if you would read this particular post and not assume that it would be interesting to be friends with someone on Facebook who is very probably going to be in jail and not be able to confirm your friend request anyway. Or even be friends with his girlfriend. He's in the picture, it's him and his girlfriend. Or even be friends with his girlfriend who had the rather interesting experience of having to tell someone she had a job interview with that she is not, in fact, dating a serial killer. James Holmes happens to be a pretty common name, surprisingly, so try not to jump the gun.
They didn't bother with any of that advice at ABC News today. No.
Really? Because that's a major news source, not even a Facebook random person.
Yeah, this is one of the three major networks.
Mm-hmm.
ABC This Morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have it, Pat?
Yeah.
It's not playing.
No, not playing.
That's all you're not getting at.
No,
we're having audio issues here. This is actually one of the worst ones I've seen in a long time because, ABC News, we'll get the clip here in a second, Brian Ross comes on the air and says, well, they're trying to find out the guy's name's James Holmes, and there is a James Holmes from Colorado who has a page on the Colorado Tea Party site. So we don't know if it's the same James Holmes, but
we got that smear out there.
Yeah.
So, just in case.
Let's be honest. We have no idea. You have the audio? Go ahead.
I want to go to Brian Ross here, because, Brian, you've been looking at investigating the background of Jim Holmes here. You found something that might be significant.
There is a Jim Holmes of Aurora, Colorado page on the Colorado Tea Party site as well, talking about him joining the Tea Party last year. Now, we don't know if this is the same Jim Holmes, but it's Jim Holmes of Aurora, Colorado.
What are you
doing? That is unbelievably irresponsible.
Incredibly
That is madness. We don't know if it's the guy. But,
well, they prefaced it with this might be important.
Right.
See, here's the thing. The media's job is not to go out and speculate. Their job is not to call an election before the election numbers are in. That's not their job. Their job is to report the news, not make the news. Report the news. But everybody is in such a hurry. Let me tell you something. I went on vacation last week, and I didn't have access to the internet. We didn't have electricity. I didn't have access to the internet, a phone. We brought a satellite phone with us, and I said, if anybody calls this satellite phone, it better be because the world has just started, on the other side, has just started to be sucked into a black hole. And half of the ocean has been sucked into the black hole. When half of the ocean has been sucked into the black hole, make this phone ring. Anybody else? I kill you when I get home. No calls. Because I knew that the ocean was not going to be sucked into a black hole. The problems of today are going to be the problems of tomorrow. I have a little more perspective. As I get a little older and I see how this thing works, I'm not as panicked by everything. This is a new thing for me. I'm not as panicked. But see, my excuse for coming on the air and saying things like, I think that this might be happening is because I'm actually trying to think it out, and I actually believe what I say. I actually believe that we're in a very precarious situation as a nation and as a people. But ABC News, they just care about ratings. They have to be the first because of ratings. What do you say? That we start demanding from our news sources, don't be first, be right. I mean, it's amazing. An hour ago, just almost exactly an hour ago, I said, I don't know who the first is going to be to make this into a political potato. And we got into the break, and Stu said, we got the first. It's ABC News. I mean, it's amazing.
Shameless. I mean, that is
Shameless.
Some of the worst reporting I've ever seen in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just search and just randomly start throwing. What if this guy? First of all, is James Holmes is the official name? Now, there obviously some people are referred to as Jim, but some aren't. And you're just throwing out a guy's name that's similar because he's tied to a political group you think is bad.
And you're telling him. By the way, where has the Tea Party been bad? Where?
Well,
I mean, it's more likely, and I'm not going here. It's more likely. This is a Occupy person because that's who's doing it in the movies.
But again, there's no evidence of that at this point, and
and you also have evidence that you've had terrorist plots on Occupy Wall Street. And who do they go to? They go to the Tea Party.
I mean, and to imagine there's an actual real person named Jim Holmes.
I have to tell you, if I'm Jim Holmes and that is my Tea Party website, I as a Tea Party. And I, as Jim Holmes, sue ABC News. I sue them. It's time to teach these people a lesson. Sue them. You've smeared me nationally. You've smeared the Tea Party organization nationally. You have taken a crisis and made it into a political statement you don't even know. And what good does that information do anyone? None. It does none. Unless you know it to be true, it does no good.